Good morning. You're nowhere near Christmas. It's April 17th, 2025, and the Lord has me reading Esther chapter 9, 18 through 32, and 10, I guess. Well, yeah, and 32. Let me shut this off for a second. Ah, it is 5:57 in the morning, and I'm going to start to read now. Purim celebrated. The Jews in Susa, however, had assembled on the 13th and the 14th, and then on the 15th day they rested and made it a day of feasting and joy. That is why rural Jews, those living in villages, observe the 14th of the month of Adar as a day of joy and feasting, a day for giving presents to each other. Mordecai recorded these events, and he sent letters to all the Jews throughout the provinces of King Xerxes, near and far, to have them celebrate annually the 14th and the 15th day of the month of Adar as the time when the Jews got relief from their enemies, and as the month when their sorrow was turned into joy and their mourning into a day of celebration. He wrote them to observe the days as days of feasting and joy and giving presents of food to one another and gifts to the poor. So the Jews agreed to continue the celebration they had begun, doing what Mordecai had written to them. For Haman, son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the enemy of all the Jews, had plotted against the Jews and destroyed them, and had to destroy them and hold on one second, to destroy them and had cast the pure, that is the lot, for their ruin and destruction. But when the plot came to the king's attention, he issued written orders that the evil scheme Haman had devised against the Jews should come back onto his own head. Give me 1 second. That's what I like about recording. You ain't gotta recording on the camera. Anyway, where am I? Back on his own head. So right here. And that he and his sons should be hanged on the gallows. Therefore, these days were called Purim, from the word pure, Purim, from the word pure. Because of everything written in this letter and because of what they had seen and what had happened to them, the Jews took it upon themselves to establish the custom that they and their descendants and all who joined them should without fail observe these 2 days every year in the way prescribed and at the time appointed. These days should be remembered and observed in every generation by every family and in every province and in every city. And these days of Purim should never cease to be celebrated by the Jews, nor should the memory of them die out among their descendants. So Queen Esther, daughter of Abihail, along with Mordecai the Jew, wrote with full authority to confirm this second letter concerning Purim. And Mordecai sent letters to all the Jews in the 127 provinces of the kingdom of Xerxes. Words of good will and assurance to establish these days of Purim at their designated time, as Mordecai the Jew and Queen Esther had decreed for them, and as they had established for them and their descendants in regard to their times of fasting and lamentation. Esther's decree confirmed these regulations about Purim, and it was written down in the records. I'm just going to read 10. I just feel like I should. King Xerxes imposed tribute throughout the empire to its distant shores, and all his acts of power and might, together with all a full account of the greatness of Mordecai, to which the king has raised him. Are they not written in the book of annals of the kings of Media and Persia? Mordecai the Jew was second in rank to King Xerxes, preeminent among the Jews, and held in high esteem by his many fellow Jews, because he worked for the good of his people and spoke up for the welfare of all the Jews. Sorry, sometimes it is early. I ain't gonna lie, I get sometimes. And I'm gonna read my notes. Yeah. Okay, so Esther 9:18 through 30, Esther 9 verses 18 through 32 details the establishment of the Feast of Purim. The Jews, after successfully defending themselves against Haman's plot, began to celebrate their deliverance. Mordecai and Esther, acting with royal authority, formally decree that the 2 days of celebration, the 14th and the 15th of Adar, be observed annually as a festival of joy, feasting, and gift giving, commemorating their victory and Haman's evil plot. This festival, called Purim, is to be remembered and kept by generations to come. Celebrating and deliverance. The Jews initially celebrated their victory and deliverance from Haman's plot with some celebrating the 14th day and others the 15th. Mordecai's rule. Mordecai, now second in command, sends letters to all the Jewish communities prescribing the observance of the Purim. Hope I'm saying it right. Queen Esther's authority. Queen Esther with Mordecai uses her royal authority to confirm the decree, ensuring the annual observance of Purim. Purim's purpose. The festival of Purim is established to remember and celebrate the Jews' deliverance from destruction and Haman's evil plot. Festive observance. Purim is marked by joy, feasting, gift giving, and fasting, lamenting as a reminder of the initial decree against the Jews and Esther's fasting before facing the king. Preservation of memory. The Purim tradition is established to ensure that the memory of Haman's plot and the Jews' deliverance is passed down through all generations. And that is the scripture the Lord wanted me to read to you. I hope you have a wonderful and blessed day. And the Lord will deliver us from our enemies' hands, no matter what plots they try to come up with. It might look like they're winning, but we've always got the upper hand. With God as majority. Yeah, anyway. Have a great day.